this dude's a far leftist, no question.
Clearly.
I want to stress, just because he has some writings, which we'll go over in just a second, about the Unabomber. In it, he clearly makes left-wing ideological positions, calling for violence. This is a leftist, and we can break that down. But I'll throw it to you guys, so I'm not just ranting on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think, this is probably not, the reason this probably confuses people is he's not the standard, liberal resist lib type of leftist. I mean, you could say he has some views that are third positionist or all over the political spectrum, but to label this guy some type of generic conservative right-wing guy, because he, I guess, retweeted Tucker Carlson before, is just ridiculous. If anything, you could say he's sort of outside the normal political spectrum, and that would be fair, but to say conservative generically, no, absolutely not. Just like how Thomas Crooks was a Trump supporter.
Exactly.
Right?
I was just going to say that. The left likes to do everything they can to distance themselves from any actual political violence.
Right.
Just like they were saying, Thomas Crooks who's the guy that was shooting at Trump. He's a Trump supporter. So they're making completely ridiculous arguments.
But they're celebrating it.
Yeah.
Taylor Lorenz.
Yeah. On one hand, he's a right winger, and then the other hand, they're celebrating it. Yeah.
Right. This is clearly so. I mean, breaking down what left and right means is okay, fine, it's loaded or whatever. But when we say left and right in a common colloquial sense, we are referring to political tribes and little else, and the manifestos of those tribes. So the right typically refers to a cohort of post-liberals, disaffected liberals, conservatives, libertarians, and anarcho-capitalist libertarian types. Just falls under libertarian. The left typically refers to anti-capitalist, environmentalists, woke, pro-trans. So if you want to make this argument of right means free market and left means centralized economy, then left and right makes no sense in any context in American political commentary. If you want to make the argument that it's fascist and communist, you're basically just saying authoritarian, and the difference being traditional worldview versus progressive worldview. In the American sense of left and right, this guy is left-wing.
I think that for as much as in my opinion, I guess, I think that if you are an anti-capitalist or if you are against private property, those are clearly left positions. There's not a whole lot of debate about it. The idea of ending private property was one of Marx's tenets of communism. He said that you could boil his philosophy down into one sentence, which is the abolition of private property.
Take a look at this. It says, the suspect nabbed in the killing is an anti-capitalist Ivy League grad who liked online quotes from Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, and see that a manifesto these parasites had it coming. Tech whiz Luigi Mangione, 26, originally from Towson, MD. Wow, that's crazy. That's not that far from here. Apparently hated the medical community because of how it treated his sick relative, sources say. Now, the crazy thing is, we've also seen rumors that he suffered an injury either surfing or hiking. And some people are posting that he had a back injury a few months ago and then fell off and no one heard from him until he appeared now. No idea.
I also think I don't understand the obsession really to make this so political to begin with, because I don't know if that was the initial accusation of conservatives that oh, this guy's a leftist. I think it's generally understood this is probably someone who is scorned over the healthcare system for a specific reason. And I think the need to even politicize it is kind of ridiculous. I mean, obviously people are going to be interested in what he said or whatever, but I don't even see the relevance, honestly, to some degree.
I mean, I slightly disagree. The question was it politically or ideologically motivated? Mm-hmm. And it is not so like I was saying, if we want to be honest, the first thing we have to do is define left and right, because people use them to mean different things. It typically refers to the tribes in American political, in the political sphere. So often it does refer to a largely traditional versus a largely progressive worldview. It does in somewhat overlap with smaller government, less regulation, and larger government, more regulation, but it's not absolute. So it's generally this amorphous structure. The reason why I think it's important to draw the distinction here is that the quote unquote right, as we see it today, seeks to bring about change through voting. Only January 6th did we see a massive riot. Then you've got what was that other riot in the 2000s? What was it called? Let me look it up. And I don't even know if it's right wing.
I don't know of any riots.
This was the Brooks Brothers riot. A demonstration led by Republican staffers at a meeting in Miami-Dade, and they called it the Brooks Brothers riot. And I don't even know if it actually counts as a riot, to be completely honest. It's like the closest you're going to get. So the right in this country tends to be families, suit-wearing individuals. They don't have time to go do these things. They tend to have kids, not always. They're going to show up to community meetings, banging on their fist on a podium or a lectern, being like, "We demand change." And the right manifesting power is best exemplified by Donald Trump and the Republicans sweeping, as we just saw. That is, all of these people being like, "This country is going to end unless we do something." What can we do? What did they do? Scott Presler registered voters, cleaned up streets. People went around and knocked on doors. People went online and complained. The left kills people, burns things down, firebombs things, gives out Molotovs, advocates for revolution and destruction. That's what this guy was doing. He has a post where he was commenting on Goodreads Ted Kaczynski's manifesto, where he literally says, and I'm not going to quote the whole thing because I don't think it should be repeated, but he basically says that peaceful protest does not work. Ted Kaczynski, it's fascinating how he insults Kaczynski for killing innocent people, but then goes on to say he praises violence and the use of violence. And now they're saying they found a manifesto. It is not of the political right in this country to violate the norms, the rules, the regulations to a great degree, and to advocate for violence. The right in this country is actually rather, the joke we make about the Republican Party is slow down there, Democrats. They don't want to step out of line. They don't want to overly wield power. Even Donald Trump in his first term did not go after Hillary Clinton or any of these people. He thought he could play ball. The people on the right genuinely believe as long as we can control the power structures, we'll be okay. While the left shot a guy, BLM riots, go out in the street. They burn things down. They attack people. 30 plus deaths in the BLM riots in 2020. This is their MO. So this guy, anti-capitalist, climate change activist, complaining about the healthcare industry and CEOs, while leftists online are cheering for him, I think it's important to draw the distinction of if we as a culture allow that to persist unchecked, these are the things you get. And the right, as we see today, which includes a lot of former liberals like myself, are saying, we don't want violence. We don't want death. We want to come together, elect a Donald Trump and populist, conservative Republican types. Look, we're big fans of Thomas Massey because we're more libertarian and liberty-minded than anything else. But the right in this country is screaming and rattling and banging on the table for political structural change, not through violence. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.